So once upon a time, I was this close to quitting real estate altogether. This is what happened. When I first started in real estate, I started down in the valley in my hometown of Redlands, California. And I had as my mentor, my broker, my boss, my, everything who was paying it forward, wonderful lady realtor that, by the way, I do try to model myself after, and her name was Diane Lightfoot. Diane really did high-end real estate masterfully. She did high-end, she did historical. It had to have a lot of zeros on the price tag for Diane to be involved in a sale. One of the last transactions that we were involved in before I moved up the mountain from Redlands, California to Lake Arrowhead was the most expensive property ever to have sold at that time in all of Redlands. It was a historic property in Prospect Park, and keep in mind that this was the early 1990s and there were a lot of zeros on this house. If it was to be sold again today, there would be a lot more zeros on the price of this house, but it was like the record-setting sale ever. So that was a really great way to exit the Redlands real estate market and then come up here to the mountain. And I'm up here, I'm getting my groove on, I'm learning how to be a realtor on the mountain. Oh my God, there's snow. I go and I actually get my first property under contract. And it was a $40,000 cabin in 𝓕𝓸𝓵𝓵𝓵. And I got worked in that transaction. Even in the 90s, $40,000 was decent, but it was not with a lot of zeros after it, right? And I'm like pouring my heart and soul into this transaction because it's the first one I'm doing in my new market area, right? We finally get to closing and the packages all come through and I get my commission check and I take it home and I hand it to my husband, Jim, and he looks at it and he looks at me and he says, "You need to change your price point or this is not gonna work." The reason why I'm telling this story is, sure, it's kind of funny to think about going from this to this, but really every transaction is its own story. And whether it's got a couple zeros at the end of it or a lot of zeros at the end of it when it comes to the price, that house that you're selling to someone is about to be someone's home. And it's real money to them, and you have to give it just as much attention no matter what the price point is. You have to respect the fact that whoever your buyer client is, they have worked hard to be able to afford that property. They have worked hard to be able to close on that property. And sure, I mean, we all like to get paid for what we do, right? But at the end of the day, that feeling, that self-satisfied feeling of, I helped somebody buy a house, is the reason why, even though my very first sale was a $40,000 cabin in 𝓕𝓸𝓵𝓵, California, that I'm still here and I'm still helping people buy and sell their homes. That's the story.